and welcome back guys to the new game review. And today we have the Heart of Machine. And it's alright but weird game. I'm sure that in mind of the developer it's very well thought out and interested. How much of this translates into the gameplay experience from the user's point of view, I'm not yet sure. From all I've seen, I think that the game will get more interesting from a theoretical standpoint, at least as I progress. What with all the time was building into each other and such, and truly major events that really don't happen early on. The game's high-level structure seems to be a broad array of goal trees, most of which can be accessed in different ways, and altogether I think hold quite a lot. How much of this do you see? That depends on how long you play for. This kind of structure unfortunately means that you will only ever see a little bit of the game at a time. You'll pay little attention to the paths you didn't take, won't know about the alternate ways you could have gotten here. Not until much later at least. Is this a bad thing? No, broadly no. It's a pretty neat, but it means the dev has to do a lot more work to go to the same amount of content that will feel impactful for most players, which is a limitation. The gameplay itself, that's the weird part. It's like a turn-based 4X game superficially, but plays very little like one. Save for the most dire battles you could find yourself in. The motivator is completing your current goals. When you complete them, there will be options to start new goals, often with some decision making involved. Are these goals fun to complete? It varies. Sometimes they kind of just boil down to placing a few structures on writing or moving a unit to several places. It's not exactly a dopamine fuel. Sometimes they require combat focused, which is interesting in some ways, but I feel like the combat system lacks in depth. It would really need to make it truly feel engaging after dozens of fights. How I would fix this, I don't know. Sometimes the amount of thought I have to actually put in this pursuit of these goals is low enough that I didn't even remember why I'm doing them in the first place, which is the real issue. And sometimes even after I've completed them, they don't seem to actually have done much for me actually appreciate. And another one. Your persona in this game solves problems. However, you are not doing much of this problem solving at all. It's kind of abstracted from you. You're super intelligent, each robot host and sometimes humans do the mountain lifting on your behalf canonically, while the game's relatively simple UI does it for you literally. I think I understand why it can't really be in another way with the game as it is, but it's definitely unstimulating. It's not like a classic 4X game where your opponent is gaining strength alongside you, where you're completing to subvert the expectations of the other and take them out, not at all. Your enemies are loosely defined and may show up anywhere for all manners of reasons, and they don't really seem to have a lot of initiative. There's a doom system in the place intended to push the action along on behalf of everything else in this world, but it does really feel quite slow to do much. I don't even really have the words to describe what this game is. It blends so many genres together and does a pretty fantastic job of making them all work in a way that doesn't feel super compartmentalized. The stuff is pretty consistent, and while it wasn't a major draw for me personally, I eventually came around to it. The world building itself is really good, and the developers have done a great job at ensuring that the city feels alive, existing with or without you, but still heavily influenced by your actions if you so choose. The tutorials are also great and progressively walk you through the game, as opposed to bombarding you with information outright. Honestly, it's one of those games you just have to play to really understand. I highly recommend it. And it was an extremely pleasant surprise considering that, at face value, the game looked a little raw on the store page to me. It is anything but. It may also feel like the player has less intuitive than they should. You can choose to go after goals the game puts in your face, but you don't have much granular control, and have a very few opportunities to meaningfully interact with your enemies. You may kind of want to go after whoever your reason is probably and theoretically standing in your way, but the city is immovable monolith, and the realism of your inadequacy to really shift, it feels like not meshed well with the fun gameplay. Maybe if the story was just focused on a small part of the city near the beginning, where it would be big enough to really make an impact before being introduced to our wider reality, it could be more engaging. I suspect all of these aspects may improve, though it seems as though the devs has a lot more content planned for the game to pad out with the user experience, so this whole review may seem overly negative to future me. We'll see. Overall, I haven't found this game exceptionally entertaining, but I don't regret buying it, and I'm interested to see where my experience, what it goes from here. Thank you guys for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, do not miss any videos. You can also set up the notification button. See you.